You look at Liesl. I mean, what do we even say? Like, she was a starting center midfielder for the #1 conference in Class A soccer. The players that she was going up against this year are all state players. Every single game, she was playing against all state players, some of whom were up for Miss Soccer. And she competed with them, she developed, showed excellence, and did it all in a way that carried herself so confidently that she just continued to grow in that maturity. And I'm so excited to see where she ends up, because she's already starting at such a high level. All right, also getting her first varsity letter. I talked a little bit about her earlier, but when you think about a skillful player, you think about ball skills, think about field awareness, the vision. Those are skills that we want every player to have, but when we think about where that's most important, it's in the center mid. And that's a player that needs to be able to see in every direction, be aware of the space that's around them. And Liesl absolutely owned that position right from the start and started in that throughout the entire season. She showed tremendous growth over the course of the season, and she's only going to continue to elevate. Talk to her about the fact that even though she was such a young player, she really was a leader on this team. Not because she's a captain or had it on her arm, but because of the way that she carried herself, always with a smile, working hard at practice, creating this space where others felt that they could work hard and fail, because she was absolutely working hard and absolutely growing because of it. So thank you, Liesl.
So Liesl, in one practice, didn't have a partner. So she was partners with Brian. And during this game called Horseshoe, where you kick a ball you're at different cones, your partner's on the other cone. And your goal is to try and kick the ball as close to the cone as possible in the air, and your partner can touch it once to lead it towards the cone. And I have got to say, Liesl might be the most dedicated person on that field. She will do anything to win or help her team. And she was partners with Brian.
So Brian, just being so powerful with his soccer abilities, kicks this ball in the air. Beautiful ball, by the way, Brian. Yep. Liesl just kind of, doesn't give up. Instead of maybe moving back and trapping it, just kind of, and it jumps in the air. The ball hits her straight in the face, and she just falls back. It was like straight out of a movie.
It didn't even hit her to the ground though. She's in the air and it hits her, and then she's just flying. And I had never seen anything like it before, so we got her some wings. But that's not all. We also just don't want her to forget us.
She just holds a special place in our heart, so we made a little picture collage for you, Liesl, because, we don't want you to forget us when we leave next year, so enjoy that.
And number 22, Liesl Erickson. The Red Hawks are coached by Brian Holloway. Good luck, ladies. Have a great game.
If you're a Red Hawk fan, you want me to call out Emma Bach's number and name a little more here. The Red Hawks just have not had a good shot. Here we go. I say that, though, and we have an open shot coming up. Shot fired and a block by Bach. But a good shot on net by Liesl Erickson. Had a good look at the goal, and she put a good kick on it.
Thank you.
Great ball!
Go.
Number 22, Lisa Erickson. Our Red Hawks are coached by Brian Holloway and Ellie Tetzlaff. Good luck and have some fun. Let's play soccer.
So at the skate fair, I saw the that big two-seat thing, that huge.
Hey, that's it right there! Good, get touch! Good job, Lisa. Great job. Great job, Lisa. Good job, Lisa. Good job, kid.
And number 22, Lisa Erickson.
Yeah, Lisa!
And now the starting lineup for your 7-1 two-time defending section champs Saints, coached by
There you go. Yeah, Lisa! Yeah, Lisa! Yes, let's go! You got that, Lisa!
Get that rebound! Let's go! There you go! Let's go! You got it! You got it!
This is all you, Lisa.
So like that's good.
Yes, Lisa!
develop as human. And that's absolutely what we saw over the course of the season. And so I want to talk a little bit about some of the overall growth in Do It and some of the things that we accomplished. And so first and foremost, the very first goal they said is they want to have fun. They wanted to come together as a team. And we saw that every single day. I mean, just look at us, this team, as they call their names for the starting lineup, and they go out and do a hip check, or I'm not sure what Lily's doing in the bottom corner there. Right. This group stayed together and stayed supportive the entire time. They came together in a way that I think is rare when you talk about a group that ranges so greatly in age, from several 7th graders all the way up to our seniors. The fact that this entire group came together, and we didn't have cliques, we didn't have these individuals that felt left out. This was a cohesive group that really enjoyed being with one another, and you can feel that every time that we were at practice, or special things like the overnight trip. Like, we're a lot of fun with this team. And I think that we accomplished that ability to have fun. So much so that I did one-on-ones with the players, and almost every player said to me, this was the most fun soccer season that I've had. And it's fun to win, right? Like, we enjoy winning. We were not winning a lot, but this team had a lot of fun despite that. I think that starts with the leadership that we had this year. And so I'll talk a little bit later about Ellie and Lily in detail, but they created a culture that everyone felt welcomed in. You should have seen them, particularly early in the season, as they reached out to the younger players. They reached out to our 7th graders and our 8th graders. About half of the team is new to varsity, and they created a culture that welcomed them in and said, it's okay to fail, we're gonna be here to support you, and we're gonna work with you. Our leaders absolutely were creating a space where they can feel safe, and that's so important for growth. And I say that about Lily and Ellie because they certainly were setting that mark, being the captains, but that's the rest of the team as well. And there's so many leaders on this team that didn't wear captain on their arm this year that created culture and created a space where every person could feel welcome. And so thank you for that. Thank you for each one of you in creating that space. In that space, we just saw tremendous growth. And I just grabbed a few of these because I just wanted to highlight some of these. But we see like Lucy here, and for those that don't know, like Lucy's coming off of injury and was working back into the season, and you would never have known that from the amount of minutes that she played, first-time varsity player, and just the growth that she demonstrated over the course of the season. Sophie, similar story, has faced injuries past year and really stayed healthy this year, and I think she's played her absolute best soccer in the last 2-3 games of the season. Found her role in the team, grew into that, and started to really take ownership of that number 6 role, that's center defensive mid. You look at Liesel. I mean, what do we even say? Like, she was a starting center midfielder for the number 1 conference in Class A soccer. The players that she was going up against this year are all state players. Every single game, she was playing against all state players, some of whom were up for Miss Soccer. And she competed with them, she developed, showed excellence, and did it all in a way that carried herself so confidently that she just continued to grow in that maturity. And I'm so excited to see where she ends up, because she's already starting at such a high level. And then Carol over here in the bottom left, and by means this is not the only growth that we saw this year, I just wanted to highlight these 4 here. I took this picture because if you notice, Carol's kicking the ball with her left foot. We had a team of all right-footed players. Somebody's got to play on the left side. And Carol not only played that position, but owned it. And by the end of the year, felt really comfortable there. And I think this is in the SPA game, we were asking her not only to play the ball with her left foot, but we were asking to play her the ball under pressure, knowing that a forward's going to come pressure her, and ask her to execute that ball down the line or fake it and play back to the center, all with her left foot. And so it's every time we got her the ball, we're asking you to do something that you previously were uncomfortable with. And by the end of the season, so comfortable, and not only comfortable, but excelling with it. All right, and so these are just some examples of the amount of growth that we saw, and I can do this about every single player here, because every single player this year grew in different ways, and it was so exciting to see that even though we as a team weren't getting the results in terms of win-losses, we as a team were seeing little wins every single game. Every single game we would come in with different strategies, different things that we worked on in practice, and I will say this is the most coachable team that I've probably ever had. We would work on it in practice, and the very next game we would see it executed. It was incredible. It was like, oh my gosh, how much could I give them? Because I know that once I give it to them, they're going to take it, they're going to run with it, and that's why we saw so much growth. So thank you for trusting in the coaches and trusting in the process and growing as a result. When we look at that, I kind of stole some of my thunder that I was just saying, I think that we just saw incredible achievements inside of those games. And so there's little moments that even when we were playing in the games, we could see that the players were growing and developing. And so, you know, Ellie is just probably the top of the list here in terms of what she achieved in a position that she previously hadn't played before last year, and that achievement that she showed. We're going to talk about some of the awards that she's going to get in a little bit, but like, she grew to be an amazing goalkeeper and keep us in games. And this was a year where we were asking a lot of our keeper, not only from shot stopping, but also like all of our plays started through her. We developed our offense through Ellie, and to see her achieve it at such a high level and make such critical saves. You know, there's little wins that we see right here. Elsa, you know, beating the player to the ball and that work rate that she shows, and being able to just win that 50-50 ball, or to see us continue to grow as with our speed, the ball at our feet, or with our technical abilities, as we saw with Talia and Zara, like just continue to play to those strengths and achieve great things as individuals inside of a broader team that was growing. When we look at that achievement, nothing feels better than scoring a goal, right? And this was our goal against the eventual state champions in Providence Academy. And I think we're still doubting who actually scored this, who we're giving credit to. It was a team effort, exactly. Yeah, but one of these two got their first goal, first varsity goal. And I think the fact that this team celebrated as a whole, that's exactly right what Sinead just said. This was absolutely a team effort. And it wasn't just this time. I am going to flip screens because I want to show you one other one. Every single player came and celebrated with Talia, including our goalkeeper who ran all the way down the field to go celebrate. Most of the time when players score, they make it to the corner flag before they get mopped, right? Talia scores and she gets tackled right where she took the shot, right? We're not gonna let her move. We're so excited with her. We're absolutely gonna mop her in this spot. It was such an incredible example of our growth and resilience. This was several games into the season. We hadn't gotten a goal. It would have been really easy for this team to get disparaged. to play less hard, to stop working for one another, and instead it was the opposite. Instead it was, let's come together, let's have fun, let's continue to grow, and we'll get those rewards when they come, and this was such an amazing example of that. First of all, I love this picture. When we finished the season, this was right after the SPA game, and we got knocked out. There's always tears, and it's always an emotional moment. I wanted to point out Michaela's face here, even Katie Jane. I wish you could see other people. Even though we had lost and we were sad that the season was ending, there was a lot of pride and joy in what we had accomplished. And when we huddled up there, it was still positive. It was still a supportive group. It was absolutely a group that was greater than the sum of its parts. And to see that and see how far we had grown, and to play so well in a game against such a tough opponent, I think was an example of everything that we had accomplished over the year. And so, I mean, if any picture that was taken this year, this one to me really just wraps up what this season was about, and the pride that I have in what we accomplished this year. Before I get to awards, I just want to say a few thank yous, because this doesn't happen in a vacuum. There's absolutely a community around this. And so first, to Lisa, Mark, Jillian, and Eric, our varsity captain parents, thank you for organizing this banquet is put on by our captain's parents. If you look at the banners and the decorations that hung at homecoming and Super Soccer Saturday, organizing the concessions, creating the culture that is our program comes from their efforts. So thank you so much. We are really proud of the field that we play on, and it's thanks to Kevin here. I already talked about Craig and Mark. Unfortunately, Coach Ellie couldn't be here. She has a family member who's sick, and she needs to be with that family member tonight. But this was my first season coaching with Ellie, and I really hope that she comes back next year. I haven't got to talk to her yet, but she is a calming presence. She's somebody who these girls could really connect with. I think it's important for these young women to see a strong female leader, and Ellie absolutely is that. And it was fantastic having her sit next to me and being able to just kind of absorb some of her insights and advice as we coach throughout the season. So really want to say thank you to Coach Ellie, and we'll certainly express that to her when I see her again next. I'm excited to say that Craig and Mark are both committed to come back next year. We feel very lucky to have such an amazing coaching staff. A few people that aren't here that I just want to make sure you're aware of and that have had a big part in this season. So Brandon is our strength and conditioning trainer, and so these girls went and worked with them twice a week. If you look, once we're in that season, the girls just get stronger and stronger. And a big part of that is the work that he does. It's not about building muscle, it's about injury prevention. It's about strengthening your core. It's about building the skills that are going to make you successful in the game and focusing on the physical aspect. So then, me as a coach, I can focus on the soccer skills and the tactics. And so him taking that, making that a key part of their development is absolutely critical, and it's a real help to me as a coach. Scott Glenn works behind the scenes. He's the one that helps with all of our buses, and particularly when you think about like an overnight trip, he helps arrange that. So I'm communicating regularly with Scott. Absolutely has been helpful. Scott Dahl, you're probably at the games. So you're not hearing Scott as much as like my family is, who lives in Texas and watches the games. And it creates an incredible atmosphere with his commentating. Emily here does everything. I think the assistant coaches, or the JV coaches, Emily is already working with me on like scheduling for next season, and so getting contracts signed for next year. When you look at the pictures that are on the table, when you look at like organizing coaching contracts, all of the awards that we're about to hand out, Emily manages. Emily is the source of knowledge for us, is an absolute workhorse. I don't know how she does it all, because I know she's giving the same support for every one of the other teams and coaches, and that's incredible because I feel like she's like my personal assistant that we got for girls soccer. No, that's not true. So thank you, Emily. Josh obviously is setting the leadership for the entire sports program here, which speaks for itself. And Josh has been incredibly supportive of girls soccer, from bringing on new coaches to getting the equipment that we need to what's going to happen out on our soccer field in the off season, and getting us a new field, getting us lights. Like, Josh is a driving force in support of this program, and it's fantastic to see its growth. Lastly, I want to say thank you to each of you, to the family members. The soccer season is a sprint. It's 2.5 months of every night and often every Saturday that we are coming to the field. I know it's a logistical challenge to get there. Even more so, I know that when the girls leave the field, they can't be successful if they're not getting the support that they need at home. So thank you for making sure that they've got their homework done. Thank you for making sure that they are fed. And we're all following, you know, what we learned in our nutrition class, right? Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for supporting the coaches. I want to just comment on, I got to go to the state tournament and take that picture, and I sat in the stands with the parents. And it's an eye-opening experience. It makes me really appreciate the parents that we have. Because not all parents are saying nice things from the sideline. Not all parents are keeping their comments to supportive comments. And some actually are thinking that they are the coach and coaching things that I know to be the exact opposite of what the coach is saying. And so I really appreciate how you show up as parents, supportive of our girls, supportive of just creating an atmosphere where even the away team feels comfortable wanting to come and play against the Red Hawks. Thank you for supporting us as a coaching staff. We wouldn't see the growth without the family behind you, each one of these players. So thank you. These are all for Cam. All right, I am going to talk about each one of the players, give them some recognition. The first one here goes to our injured superstar that we're excited to get back. Amanda absolutely worked in the off season, was ready to play, got injured in our initial scrimmage. But I want to highlight that even though she's not on the field with us this year, like, she is working harder than probably anybody else. I've been checking in with her, and she's at 2 months after recovery. She's about 6 months. And she's like at the point where she would expect to be at about 6 months. She's already got her brace off, is already working on strength training, has like full range of motion. She's doing this amazing work to get back and be part of the team, and we are very excited to have her next year. We've got this for you. I messed up. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to announce now, or I think I'm going to announce
Whenever you want.
Do it now? All right. I forgot what the norm is here. Go ahead. But not only has Amanda been a part of the team, even though she's been injured, she's still been coming to the games. The team still sees her absolutely as a leader, respects her voice, and creates an atmosphere like you want to see. Oh, watch out. She creates. It's not weird at all. So the players vote, and one of the things they voted on is they voted Amanda to be a captain. All right, so it's a tradition. Is it? I mean, whose shoe is it?
It's my old one.
Yeah. It's tradition that the captain spray paint a shoe gold and give it to the next year's captains. Yeah. All right, I get to recognize a player who is getting her first varsity letter, and so you get to order a jacket as well. This player, I would say, represented such maturity. Came to me actually during placement practices and talked about why she wanted to be on varsity. Talked about how she wanted to grow as a player, how she wanted to work hard, and absolutely lived up to that expectation. Over the course of the season, worked very hard at practice. When we put her into games, what we saw as a player who grew from an individual defender to a collective part of a defensive group, and that was a big focus for us, was, hey, at this level, you can't just mark your player, you are marking whatever's the most dangerous position or space at that moment, and it's something that Ella really developed in and showed tremendous growth over the course of the season. She's a super young player, and we're really excited to see where she grows. All right, also getting her first varsity letter. I talked a little bit about her earlier, but when you think about a skillful player, you think about ball skills, you think about field awareness, the vision. Those are skills that we want every player to have, but when we think about where that's most important, it's in the center mid. And that's a player that needs to be able to see in every direction, be aware of the space that's around them. And Liesl absolutely owned that position right from the start and started in that throughout the entire season. She showed tremendous growth over the course of the season, and she's only going to continue to elevate. Talked to her about the fact that even though she was such a young player, she really was a leader on this team. Not because she's a captain or had it on her arm, but because of the way that she carried herself, always with a smile, working hard at practice, creating this space where others felt that they could work hard and fail, because she was absolutely working hard and absolutely growing because of it. So thank you, Liesl. Another first-time varsity athlete. It must have been an interesting experience. You're not Sophie?
What?
Sophie, we'll get you yours. We'll see if that's easy. The next one's right. All right, next one, another first-time varsity athlete. This was probably a unique experience. Was expecting to come onto a season and to a team and get to play with her sister. Unfortunately, sister was injured, and created a space where Nora could get to kind of be her own player, be her own person. And what we saw was Nora is really funny. A lot of personality. I would expect a player that's young, that's a middle schooler to come into varsity and be shy, and that is not Nora. Anyway, I think that's fantastic. She has the confidence of an older player. Oh, I'm dropping my picture. But not only is it a personality thing off the field, but also personality on the field. We saw a player who's not afraid to take people on in the dribble, which is a risk, and absolutely creates plays. I think back to the St. Charles game really stands out for me as this moment where it was like, oh, Nora has arrived. Like, Nora's feeling herself, she's laughing, she's having fun, and she's taking people on in the dribble, she's creating plays, she's found her position, she understands her role, and she's only a middle schooler, and so it's really exciting to think about where she's going to be in the next few years. It was a great season, Nora Ricci. I already talked about her. I'm going to check all the now. Yep. I already talked about her a little bit already, but when you think about Lucy and the growth that she showed over the course of the season, it's tremendous. Coming off of injury, being able to play for the first time early in the season, was self-aware in a way that I think we don't normally see, to be able to say, hey, I need to come off. And that told me that she's going to communicate what's best for her, and that she's going to communicate what's best for the team. And it instilled in me this trust in her to, like, hey, if you're going to communicate that, that's great. As soon as you're ready, you tell me you want to go back in, you're going to go back in, because she had earned that time. She has incredible vision, and one of the things we saw really at practice early on is the fact that we could play the ball out wide to her, and that she had the vision to play the ball across the field and really flip an attack, which is so difficult to do. It takes not only the vision to see it, but then the physical ability to be able to execute that, and the strength to be able to play that long ball. And Lucy really owned that wingback position. I think it was her first time playing wingback, and not something that tactically many teams play at a club level. And so there's growth in terms of tactical awareness, growth in terms of physical ability, certainly growth in terms of maturity and presence on the field. And so it was a fantastic season. Thank you, Lucy. Cross-country skiing, is that where she got her varsity there?
Alpine.
What's that?
Oh, Alpine.
Alpine.
Yeah, down.
Yeah. All right, next up, another fantastic first-time varsity player for us. This player plays forward for us, but one of the things that we talked about was one of the things that really distinguished her as a forward is she's actually one of the best defensive forwards. And what I mean by that is when we don't have the ball, it's really easy for a forward to give up and sit back and just kind of like, I'm not going to win the ball back. And that is not Elsa in any way. Elsa's strength is speed, and the fact that Elsa would chase after the ball 4v2, oftentimes defenders have any forward outnumbered. She would work so hard in creating opportunities for us, help us win the ball back, and try to flip the field by winning the ball at the top of the field. What she developed on over the course of the season was then also how to get open, her movement off the ball, how to find it into space. We see that her physical abilities, like her speed, her shooting, are already there. Like, she's going to be a fantastic forward for us, and this was just the beginning. So congratulations. All right, this one, I was commenting on this earlier. This one is the funniest banner because Lucy Hoffner can never be seen without a smile on her face. And she's like mean mugging here. Lucy is absolutely a joy to have on the team. She is always positive, always very supportive of her teammates. One of the things that stands out to me with Lucy, and we talked about this last week, is she's a relatively new player to soccer. She's still developing her skills. normally that translates into mistakes on the field. But when you look at Lucy's game and you watch her play, she executes extremely, extremely well. Lucy is someone who is a big game player. Like, she gets the ball at her feet, she recognizes where it is, and she executes that pass. Or the ball's played long to her, she's able to receive that ball down to her feet. She is already executing at a level that I would say is multiple years ahead of where she is. And it's just fantastic to see. I think she's gonna play some club soccer in the off season. And I think we're gonna see tremendous growth for her because of the fact that she's already confident, has that calmness on the field where wherever her ability is, she's getting 100% of it. And we're just gonna continue to see that elevate. So very excited to see where Lucy grows. All right, another first-time letter recipient. This player, when we did placement practices, one of the things that we did this year was we asked the players, where do you want to be? Do you want to be on varsity? Do you want to be on JV? We knew that we had a lot of new players. We knew we had a team that was in transition. And this player initially said JV. And I'm glad that she did because it allowed her the time to be able to grow, develop as a player, work under the tutelage of Mark and Craig, and develop her skills and just get tons of playing time on JV. And it's a great example of the value of playing JV. Because what she then did was, I believe the Brep game, when we had a few players out, she jumped in and we asked her, like, in the moment, could you play? We're short some players. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we didn't have the right numbers. And we needed Kana to step up. Not only did she say yes, but she thrived in that new experience. She absolutely showed that she was ready for the moment, jumped at it. And then what I wanted to highlight from Kana's experience, the little time that we got to work together, one of the things that we did right before the SPA game is we talked about some of the tactical changes that we were gonna do to try to win our section game. And the big ask from Kana was that she, instead of playing and wanting the ball into space behind, that she actually turn, face us, receive the ball and hold it, and not try to beat people, try to be the player that we could play through and hold it, and then she would play it off to players as we got out of our defensive shape. It's a completely different style of playing forward than what she'd been playing all year. And if you go and watch the tape, it's really fun because Kana does it extremely, extremely well against SPA. And it was literally 1.5 practices that we worked on it, and she switched her style of play on a dime and executed extremely well, and just shows, like, once again, that growth that we're going to see from Kana over the course of the next few years, and really excited for her to play some club soccer this year as well, and come back. Excited to see her on varsity. All right, so I jokingly said to her that she was the only player on the team that did not make a single mistake this year. Unfortunately, that's because she also didn't get a minute on the field this year. And so we were really sad in the off season when we heard that Gretchen had torn her ACL. That being said, Gretchen was very much a part of this season. She reached out to me in the off season and asked to be a team manager. She came to our practices, helped us coaches with the equipment, helped us get things set up. Sometime even just played with Landon on the sideline, so thank you for that. But then was a calming presence for our young team. Was somebody who they could talk to, whether it be, no, I don't think your sister ever came to you, right? The other players came to Gretchen and would talk to her. And she's certainly somebody that everyone else looks up to. And so not only is she earning a varsity letter for being a manager, this team also asked her to be a junior captain next season. All right, next up, we have quite possibly the best athlete on the field. Somebody who came to us last year and really was learning soccer, and this year really owned it and showed her athleticism. We asked her to play in a new role in that defensive center mid, which is an odd ask for a new player because you are going to get the ball the most out of really anybody on the field. But one of the things that Sine is really amazing at is receiving that ball, shielding it, using her body. I think she got that from basketball. And being physical defensively as well. We saw her speed play out, and we wanted to put her in a position where she could use that athleticism to get up and down the field. She's a really dynamic athlete and has turned into a very dynamic soccer player, and it was a pleasure to have you in the season. So it wasn't yours either. All right, so next year, I've had the pleasure of coaching Sophie for several years now, and we've seen this season really be an amazing season for her as she really blossomed into this fantastic center midfielder. We saw her tenacity, we saw her speed, we saw her strength really come out. What I didn't know was where that came from, and so a few weekends ago I got a chance to go see Sophie compete in a Taekwondo competition. And I didn't know that Sophie did this, but I was blown away when Sophie, I should have had you like set up plates. I'm not going to do this. She did a triple kick. She jumped right, left, right, all in the air at one time. Triple kick, and the boards exploded. And I really wish we knew it because we incorporated that into a corner kick song. It was super incredible to see her and to see her really excelling in another area because we know that she can do it on the soccer field, to see it in another area. It was just another example of just how amazing these girls are in general, and I haven't said it tonight, so I just want to reflect on the fact that this is an incredible group of young women who excel in so many areas besides the soccer field. And Sophie, was a senior on the team, was a leader, was a calming presence for everybody, always working hard, showed up consistently in that way, and it's a big part of why the culture of this team was so positive. Thank you, Sophie. I did know that Lydia does Taekwondo. Yeah. So we really should have had some demonstrations or something between the two of them, at least a sparring match. But Lydia's season, unfortunately, had a pretty significant hiatus due to injury this year. It was really a shame because she had really developed in her own rights in the off-season, and we saw that come in immediately with her technical abilities. She'd been juggling in the off-season, I suspect, and came in with a really refined touch on the ball. Always had that strength and the ability to shoot from distance, and I think we can incorporate that to Taekwondo as well, probably. So cross-training, ladies, really important. But I think what we saw over the course of your multiple years with us is a player who continues to develop, continues to work hard, has a quiet confidence about you, and continues to show strength that I think is really admirable. So thank you, Lydia. All right, next up. So we're gonna give out some of the next players all have some of these player voted awards, and when they get voted, they get these beautiful like wood plaques. And I started with this one because this player actually got voted by different teammates as best defender, best midfielder, and best offensive player. People thought that she was the best at every one of those positions. Different people voted for her. And so it's no surprise that over the course of the season, she had played every one of those positions. And what it takes to be able to do that is versatile skill set. And so that ability to understand what every role is on the field, to be able to technically be able to handle those, the confidence to do it, because we're asking you to change positions, and to have that confidence is rare. And then not only to have that confidence, but then to be able to execute in those roles. And what I think people are saying when they say that she's all three of those, she absolutely executed. To see her cut the ball, dribble against people, I can tell you, having tried to defend her in practice, it's very difficult. She made me look silly multiple times in practice, and I will be wearing cleats in the future because oftentimes it's cutting and I am slipping and falling, trying to keep up with Zara Jensen. What's she?
Yeah, is that Lisa?
Lisa, this is yours.
That's my fault.
And I didn't actually say, Zara did end up winning the award for best midfielder. And I'm going to recognize the next player who developed a lot over the course of this season, always had the speed to be dangerous up top, knew that she was somebody who could get in behind, who would beat people, because we see it when she runs track, that she's regularly leaving people in the dust. But what we saw over the course of the year was that, where's Talia? All right, well, I'll talk about her anyways. Talia developed as a player. She actually excelled having the ball to her feet, and she became our target player. So the role that Kana really filled in the SPA game was originally the role that Talia was doing, and so it was a real shame to have lost her due to her own surgery. But we saw a player that continued to grow, continued to develop as a soccer player. So she was recognized as best offense. All right, this one is fun, and I think was very well deserved. I will say, we could have given this award to several players this season. It is the most improved award, and I think there were multiple players that got recognized, and every one of them, I was like, yeah, that makes sense, absolutely. So much improvement over the course of the season. But it's no surprise that the player that the team recognized would be Carol, because I talked about it earlier. Carol is a first time playing on varsity for the entire season. You okay, Mac? Carol can also perform first aid. Carol developed as a player in a new position. At JV, she had always played center back. We asked her to play out in left back. I talked about earlier about her development as a left-footed player. But not only that ability to play the ball at left foot, but to keep up with the players that are playing right wing. And so when you think about who she's marking, like that's Madden Greenway plays directly opposite of her. And so she's going against the fastest players that are in the state, the most technical skills, and she absolutely was a shutdown defender this year. And so at no point in the entire season did we ask somebody to double team a player. In fact, when we played against Madden last year, we would do it. Maybe Lily wasn't great last year, I don't know, but like Carol, I can only do that with Lily. but Carol was somebody who we felt comfortable putting on island, saying, hey, go shut down this player. Not only are you going to shut her down, but we can play through you, and we can develop our attack through Carol. So it was fantastic to see her first season, and I'm really excited to see what comes next season. All right, the next player here also got voted for multiple different categories, and speaks to her versatility. But I think some of the different things that she was recognized for were most improved, like best midfielder, best offense, and it's all a result of what she ultimately won, which was our 150% award. Somebody who comes to practice, works really hard, is in games, absolutely giving everything that she's got, and you know that because after a play, she's probably on the ground. She's just given everything she has, and she sprinted after it. And she's somebody who has developed as a field player with us, plays in the goal for her club team, and over the course of last year, became comfortable on the field. Over the course of this year, became a dominant player on the field, and oftentimes was that player who could not only play defense, but really flip the game for us and get us into our attack. We would love to play through her. She would take people on, she would make plays. And so it's no surprise that her teammates recognized her with the 150% award. In addition, the coaches from the IMAC conference recognized Katie Jane as all-conference honorable mention. When we talk about leadership, and I think I'm down to my last three. Yeah, when we talk about leadership on the field, I've mentioned a few times that it's not just the person that's wearing the captain on their arm. And Michaela is absolutely the embodiment of this. So when you would look at, after we scored a goal, one of the things we asked this year is like, hey, we want to come together. This is moment of pain. It's this moment of what we feel like could be a failure. And in that moment, we want everyone to come together and remind each other we're working for each other. And Lily so often was that person in the picture that we saw earlier that would then be the voice of that. And over the course of this season, Lily was backed up so often by Michaela. And Michaela became this positive voice. And what we saw is over the course of the season, Michaela became that driving force of the team to continue to persevere. She was the one that was talking up the team, we've got this, even if we're down, we can keep going. And when we look at the growth of this team, it's because of that will to continue to work hard, and it's because of that leadership that our captains created on the field, but certainly that Michaela did. And she can't do that, and people don't respect her as a leader if she's not embodying the examples that we want of other players. And so this is a player who has developed as a shutdown defender, developed as not only an outside back, but this year actually started to shift her into the center back position. And so we're talking about a sophomore who became somebody who we felt like could be the rock of our team in that center back role, instructing other people around what they should be doing in their roles, being able to, at the same time that she's thinking about how the rest of the team is playing, be able to deliver excellence and execute herself. That's what Michaela demonstrated over the course of the season. It's why the IMAC conference recognized you as honorable mention as well. And I think most importantly, it's why the team said Michaela should be a junior captain next year.
Sorry.
Move the bag, Ellie.
All right, so I've said it multiple times tonight, and we're getting to the final two that we get to talk about here, and it's no doubt that the leaders of this team were our two captains. And Ellie was named a captain and was fully deserving of that last year, jumping in goal and demonstrating that work ethic, that growth, the selflessness to play in net, even though she truly enjoys being on the field. This is a player who embodies, what we want in a leader, and that she is working so diligently to improve herself. She's supportive of her teammates. Over the course of the last 2 years, Ellie has become a predominant shot stopper. She was somebody who came out on breakaways multiple times this year and made those saves. It was an area that she wanted to work on, that she struggled with in the past, that she absolutely became a fantastic player on this year and really did not give up many breakaway goals this year, in large part thanks to Ellie. But even more, I would say that what Ellie did is, I said earlier, we started our play through her. And so it was a big tactical shift this year. The way that we played was that we wouldn't take our goal kicks and just kick them long. We've got a short team, we're not going to win those. And we knew that our strength was that we had Ellie in goal. And so we basically said, every single time that we have a goal kick, Ellie, we want your decision making. We want you to decide where should we be going with the ball and then execute that. It's a lot of trust that we put in her because obviously we're in front of our goal. And we're asking Ellie to sometimes make dangerous passes, sometimes make choices that are difficult, and she executed that over and over again. It is very stressful to play goalie as a shot stopper. Now we're asking her to do that as well, and she did it with excellence. And so it's no surprise that not only was she a captain, but she was also recognized by IMAC as all conference. Congratulations. To reflect on these all-conference awards, the IMAC conference now has been in the state championship game every year that they've created 3 classes, and has won 3 of the 4 years. Like, this is the best conference in the state, and I don't think there's any argument about it. And so this team as a whole played against the best that this state has to offer. Every single game, twice a year we're playing against these teams, and these players being recognized for all conference is a really big deal. Lily, I think, had been recognized as all conference last year as well, and Lily is a 5th year varsity player, and so those middle schoolers that are on the team this year, look at Lily. I think she's an incredible example of the growth that happens over the course of playing in the program for 5 years, the confidence that comes with that. Lily has been a rock in defense for us for several years. She's been a starter, I think, since her freshman year, and was a player. She was a player who came up with a excellence already in her skill. Yeah, I can't think now. Excellence already, and she has just developed in so many different ways. Whether that be now like her heading of the ball, her left foot, her voice, her vocal leadership on the field, and how she grew as a player. Lily was recognized as by her teammates as best defender. She was also recognized for the IMAC All Conference. I want to recognize her. One of the awards that we talk about is if you had to recognize one player who embodies what it means to be a Red Hawk, if you had to put that Red Hawk jersey on one person on this team, who would that be? We call that the Red Hawk Award. In my mind, it's the greatest compliment that your teammates can give. and it says that you are what we hold ourselves to be. And so her teammates recognize Lily Balzer with the Red Hawk Award. All right, that's all for me. Sorry, I know I'm long-winded. I really enjoy working with this team. Thank you for the opportunity. I absolutely loved getting to know these girls and the families. So thank you for your trust, for being a part of this team. I know that it's a big ask to join a soccer team, to invest in this, and I think that is an investment that has paid dividends. I know it has for me, and it certainly has for these girls. So thank you for an incredible season.
Okay, hello everybody. So I know on the program it says we're gonna do our awards first, but we're switching that, and Ellie and I are gonna do our coaches' thank you speeches first. So usually captains pick one coach to talk about. Yeah, so usually captains talk about one coach each, but Ellie and I, when we were talking about it, decided that we both wanted to say a little something for both of our coaches. So first, I would mostly be talking about Brian, but I did want to say thank you to Ellie. So when I was told that Ellie Larson was stepping in to be our new coach, I was very excited and beyond grateful. I remember when her sister, Eva Larson, was my captain during my first time on the varsity team. And now, during my last time on the varsity team, woo! Well, Ellie was gonna be my my coach. So, about this fun. Okay, so it was kind of a full circle moment for me, and it was just like a perfect fit. After losing 2 coaches last year, our team was in desperate need of another leader. So from the first practice, Ellie automatically stepped into her new role as coach. She was a comforting presence, very easy to talk to, and always stayed positive. Ellie was there to offer guidance, not just to the team, but to me as well as a new captain. With your leadership, your positivity, and your constant support, I don't know what we could have done without you. Thank you. Okay, Brian. When I was thinking about my speech for you, I didn't really know where to start because Brian has been a big part of my life for about 7 years now. And there's just so many things I could talk about. So I apologize. I might be here for a while. When thinking, I kept remembering this supplemental essay about leadership I just wrote recently when applying to an honors program at a college. And I thought I would start by reading to you all my introductory paragraph about my first year a part of the soccer program. So I've been a member of the Minnehaha Academy Girls Soccer Program since the summer going into 6th grade. I vividly remember my first day getting dropped off at the high school soccer field alongside my older sister. The intimidating coach asked everyone over to the middle of the field for the annual get to know the team talk. We gathered in a circle and were asked our name, grade, and favorite ice cream flavor. And of course I was terrified, just surrounded by high schoolers and just trying to search my brain for any opinion I had on ice cream because I was worried about saying the wrong flavor. When it came to my turn, I answered the questions pretty quietly, and at the mention of my age, everyone turned and some let out a gasp. So that's the end of the paragraph, but I hope you all notice how I describe Brian as intimidating. And he definitely was for maybe a day or two. But that's the thing about Brian, he's hard not to like. Brian was so welcoming, even at my young age, when I hadn't even played club soccer before. He made sure I was included and having fun while also helping me grow as a player without embarrassing me. Brian always supported me, even taking off his own socks off of his feet to give me socks when I had forgotten some one day. It's moments like those that show what kind of a person he is. Brian's positivity and care for each of us stood out in so many ways. So, as I think about all the years with Brian as my coach, there's just one memory that just always makes me laugh. I've been waiting to tell you guys this one. I don't remember the specific details, but I'll try my best. My sister, Sienna, and I were driving in my dad's car. And after practice, and we stopped at a stop sign about 2 blocks away from Minnehaha. And we're facing forward, minding our own business. And suddenly, there's a loud bang. I quickly look to my right, and Brian, in an attempt to scare us, had shoulder butted right into the side of the car. We start laughing at the prank until I look again, and I notice the surprise and guilt suddenly on Brian's face. So I get out of the car, and there's a huge dent on the spot where Brian had hit. So imagine me going home that night and explaining to my dad how I dented his car. It was really funny. I love that story. So there are many fun memories that came up in my brainstorm. Brian has always found ways to have creative practices. Like one year it snowed in October, and Brian organized a snow practice with snowmen as our defenders. That was one of my favorite soccer memories. We've had volleyball games as practice. We've had yoga practices by the Mississippi River. And of course, the annual Nutrition Day, which, if you didn't know, was where Brian tries to convince us all to be vegan with his various recipes. I've just had so much fun on this team. And I think that's thanks to Brian. The summer going into this season, I knew we were going to face some challenges, but I was so excited about the growth and the influx of new girls to this soccer program. Relating to the paragraph I read at the beginning, it used to be a pretty big surprise to come to a summer practice as a 6th grader. But the first practice this summer, I realized that a big majority of our team consisted of middle schoolers. I remember how frightening it was when I was that young too, so I knew my role as a captain was important. When I was thinking about how to approach the season, Brian was there for me every step of the way. He's someone you can always count on, not just to coach, but to care. I think one of the things that stands out the most to me about Brian is how he treats everyone with such respect. He doesn't just push you to be a better soccer player, he truly pushes you to just be a better person. This season was so memorable, and I had so much fun. Honestly, I think that's largely because of Brian. As we navigated a new team dynamic, Brian was right there, leading with his usual sense of humor, patience, and positivity. So Brian, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for all the memories, the guidance, and the laughter. Okay. Thank you for always believing in us, even when we didn't believe in ourselves. You've truly had such a great impact on my life. And I know I speak for everyone here when I say we are so incredibly lucky to have you as our coach.
I'm going to be talking about Brian and Ellie as well. These past 4 years on this team have been incredible. I want to thank my amazing coaches for this. Brian and Ellie helped build up our team this year and form a community between the players and coaches. Thank you, Brian, for always believing in me. There's been so many ups and downs on this team, all of which I'll never forget. It's been an honor to play under your leadership for so many years, and you've taught me some great lessons I will always cherish. Thank you for pushing me to be my best and holding me accountable. At the end of every year, you have always shown your pride for our team despite the outcomes. Your hard work, dedication, and support to our team every single year is something I cherish. I have so many memories of this. Even when we were crying at the section finals from losing to SPA, you've still shown how proud of us you were, which meant so much. And of course, with us seniors graduating, we're the last players on the team that won state. And I'll absolutely never forget the joy that filled me when you placed the champion medal around my neck and seeing how proud of us you were. All your hard work truly shows, and I want you to know that I'm so grateful to have had such an amazing coach. I will forever thank you for all your memories and the support, or all the memories that you have made for us. Playing goalie the past 2 years definitely wasn't easy, but having coaches that helped prepare me made a big difference. With Julie leaving last year, there was no longer a goalie coach, making my position hard. However, I was excited to hear that we would have another Ellie a part of the team this year as a new assistant coach. I was able to spend extra time with Ellie because of my position, and I enjoyed how much positivity she brought to everyone on the team. During my goalie warm-ups, Ellie brought energy and helped me get excited for the games, no matter how hard of a day I might have had. Ellie would stay positive, and I always looked forward to her and having our time before a hectic game. Not only is Ellie a coach for Minnehaha, but she also teaches for 3rd graders. I couldn't imagine how exhausting teaching 3rd grade could be, but you wouldn't even be able to tell because Ellie still brought so much energy to practice every day, coming straight from the classroom. She's helping teach and grow the next generation of Redhawks, and one day her former students could be the players she's coaching. I know Signe is excited for that day. I have enjoyed getting to know Ellie and all that she does for Minnehaha, and I hope that every other player gets to as well, because she has the most experience being a Red Hawk and is a great role model for this team. I remember one specific practice where I sat out because of an injury, and instead of practicing, I chit-chatted with Ellie about her teaching experiences. I realized then just how dedicated Ellie is to helping others before herself. Her care for our team has helped us throughout the season, and I'm so thankful. Despite only spending 1 year with her, I learned so much about Ellie, and I think she was one of the best additions to our team. On behalf of everyone on the team, thank you both for everything you do. Your dedication and passion have inspired us in many ways.
Okay, now this is the fun part. For all of the varsity players, we have we have more awards. We have gag gifts. So players, gag gifts. So players, please take the gifts with a grain of salt. Parents, you as well. They're supposed to be funny. So, yes. Okay. Yeah, let me get my list. So we bought a lot of gifts. So I'm sorry, it might take a while. Okay. So starting off with this player just fought every single game so hard, no matter what. She was just so strong. She treated every game like a battle, just like Brian said. So, Elsa, we got you a knight helmet to guide you for the next season. And just keep up your battling. Katie Jane, for you, this is 2 traditions pass on to you. These are awards that we've received that we really just think are fitting for you, and we'd love to just pass them down to you. Wait, you go.
Okay, so the first one that I have is just like something that I would like to share with you. Something that your sister gave me. Just as a little good luck. We got some goalie gloves. They're your sister's. Good luck.
Dangerous.
I don't even know how to describe this award, but Katie Jane, you're getting the Bachelorette flowers for having so many fun friends that are guys at our school. And we constantly see Katie Jane surrounded by the boys. And so, Katie Jane,
Lily got too.
I had to get this one time, like freshman year. So, Katie Jane, this is now for you. It's Bachelorette roses.
Next up, we have Gretchen. We just thought that she was the best helper on the team. She's just always doing the most and supporting the team in every way.
We just thought we could give you something that represents you and you just pass some time with. So,
in case you're bored in your recovery, just whenever, we got you some activities in the Santa Helper book.
Amanda, for you. Amanda, sometimes I would be like, where did Amanda go? And they would be, oh, Amanda is at the boys' game. I'm supporting various friends and her brother on the team. So, Amanda, this was sometimes after games or during practice or during our games. She was sometimes at the boys' game, so you have a certificate for going to the most boys' soccer games this year. Congratulations.
Giggles.
She's so cute.
So, for Sophie, we feel like you've been misrepresented in the past, and we just wanted to make up for that, so we got you a few gifts. So we got you a balloon for always smiling, because we never see you not smiling. So we got you that. And then we also, just like, you're a senior, you're graduating. So we felt like you might because you're gonna go so far, we got you a calendar to keep track of everything that you might have to keep track of. And then also, just because you're so serious and you're always working hard in the classroom, we need you to just take a break and just relax. So we got you lots of activities and coloring and stickers. So maybe bring it to college. So something fun with it. That'll keep you entertained for a long time.
Sine, I just loved having Sine on this team. She always, this kind of used to be my role, but she turned into this role for me. Well, Sine has these long acrylic nails, and she would always just come up behind me, start rubbing my hair, and it felt amazing. But that's just, I loved that about Sine on this team. So we got you some new nails to put on, some press-on nails for you tonight to put on.
Some equipment for Gretchen, I forgot to mention it, a ball pump, in case it breaks. Got you another one. Okay, so for Michaela, she's just always been our defense buddy in the past 2 years, and we just never want you to forget us.
We just love you so much. So, please hang it up on your wall. It's from us because our friendship is always and forever. Aww. So this is kind of another tradition. We always seem to have a kind of, how do we say this?
Well, there's always young people on the team, And yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah, we would call it the baby award. So it basically is just it's one of the youngest players on the team, and we just thought she's like the sweetest ever, and she was just such a fun presence on the team, and she was just always we'd be texting, and I just love her so much. So Ella, you got the baby award because yeah, that's all.
So, Lucy Hoffner is just a really nice person, and I can't think of anything else to describe her but nice. And I just feel like she needs to just write down like everything about being nice.
Okay, yeah, I think that Lucy might be one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. I've never seen her say anything rude. So, Lucy, here's a nice journal that says nice, nice, nice on it. Okay, this person, I always seem to have some food on her. We'd be warming up, and she'd have a bag of chips on her or something. And yeah, hummus crackers, maybe a banana and a string cheese. She always had some food on her, and I swear it always just helped her mood. So we got you a towel, and it says, what is it? It says, good food, good mood.
Okay, Nora, where do I even begin with you? She definitely has a personality, so much energy, just so much energy. Needs something to do maybe to keep her like diva energy going. I don't know. So we got you a book, and it says Diva Dino, because we just think that you're our little Diva Dino. And it's a coloring book to keep you entertained, just in case.
So during our overnight, Brian had a great idea of doing nails, and that turned out great. Brian's nails got painted, and there was one person that was always like, I don't paint my nails, I don't paint my nails, I'm not gonna paint my nails, I'm not gonna paint my nails. And she ended up having painted nails by the end of the night, for sure, and just talked about it for like 3 days straight about how she had nail polish on her nails. So, Lydia.
We actually got her Lucky Charms scented nail polish. And there's 2 different colors, and we decided to not only have pink nail polish, but glittery nail polish to fit in with the personality.
So during our soccer sleepover at my house, we always do these t-shirts, these tie-dye t-shirts. And there was just this one person who just didn't know how to do the puffy paint for some reason. And she was trying, and then she's like, it won't get out, the puffy paint won't get out. So she pushes it really hard, and the entire thing splatters with black puffy paint. The whole thing is just covered in it. So we thought maybe to improve your painting skills, get you a painting book, and for next year, and for your shirt next year.
The shirt gets better next year.
Do a little practice.
So Lucy Luckin is just the most behaved middle schooler I've ever met. She is just, not saying that the other ones aren't. We love all the middle schoolers, but like, Nora's got that diva energy, but you just wouldn't expect Lucy Luckin to be a middle schooler. Like, I would have thought she's like a junior. So we just got her.
So she wins the most mature middle schooler. Yep, and that's a crown, and you should wear it proudly. Because I think you're one of the most mature people I've ever met, and I feel like we could talk for hours. I feel like we are best friends. And yeah, I'm just excited for you to go to high school, because I think you're mentally already there.
And it has earrings, and yeah, you're just our queen. partner. So she was partners with Brian. And during this game called Horseshit, where you kick a ball from, you're at different cones, your partner's on the other cone. And your goal is to try and kick the ball as close to the cone as possible in the air, and your partner can touch it once to lead it towards the cone. And I have got to say, Lisa might be the most dedicated person on that field. She will do anything to win or help her team. And she was partners with Brian.
So Brian, just being so powerful with his soccer abilities, kicks this ball in the air. Beautiful ball, by the way, Brian. Yep. Liesl just kind of, doesn't give up. Instead of like maybe moving back and trapping it, just kind of, and it jumps in the air. The ball hits her straight in the face, and she just falls back. It was like straight out of a movie.
It didn't even hit her to the ground though. She's in the air and it hits her, and then she's just flying. And I had never seen anything like it before, so we got her some wings. But that's not all. We also just don't want her to forget us.
She just holds a special place in our heart, so we made a little picture collage for you, Liesl, because, we don't want you to forget us when we leave next year, so enjoy that. And that concludes our bag gifts for this year. Thank you very much.
They're upside down.
So last thing on the agenda is our annual slideshow where we put together a bunch of photos. So here it is.
So while they're doing that, I just want to thank again our captains, parents, for putting on the banquet here, for organizing the dinner. Thank you to everybody for coming and being a part of this. I know it's long-winded, but I think it's a really special night and an example of this amazing program. So thank you. Oh, you guys want to say too? Okay.
Of course, we want to, as captains, parents, thank all the parents here who made this job a lot easier for us. Alejandra put together the sign-up sheet to help make concessions, and people just signed up and did it. Like that, it was awesome this year. It was, it made it a lot easier. So we thank you for that. Emily, the photos, my gosh, you guys, all these photos are Emily's photos. The slideshow, please take them, girls, families. If you see a picture that you want, these are all for you. And thank you all for also contributing to some coaches' gifts that we have. The families all chipped in for the coaches, Brian, Craig, Mark, and Emily, or Ellie. I actually have a little something for Emily too. So thank you, girls. Little something for you from all of us. You guys were amazing, and another extra thank you to Craig and Mark for stepping up and just making such a great experience for the JV team too. Brian, it goes without saying, your experience is amazing. Ellie was just an outstanding assistant coach for our girls, and we thank you all very much. Thanks for a great season.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for a great night.